Hey guys, thank you for checking out this video. I know you won't be disappointed. Real quick, pause this video or whatever you need to do, go over to our website, TekTorProductions.com, if you're not there already. And on the homepage on the right hand side of the screen, there should be a email sign up. You can sign up for the newsletter. Go ahead and just throw your email in there and submit that. The whole idea there is we have a weekly newsletter. It's going to keep you updated on all the videos we put out. It's going to have links to the artist interviews and stuff we're doing, and from time to time we're going to throw exclusive content in there that you'll only see if you are subscribed. So like I said, pause this video, pause it. Okay, good job. Okay, now go and subscribe because you do not want to miss out. This episode is sponsored by Empire's Comics Vault.
Okay, yeah, I'm Corey Patton. I draw Sato Cat, write and draw. And
I'm Matt Marchetti, the writer and artist of Plotless Comics, Rabbit Walrus, the slightly insane, spontaneously combusting, frothing, mutant, ninja, black belt, samurai, rabbit walrus from hell. People like to make me say it more than once when they come to buy the comic, so at the end of the day I'm kind of tired. But the long name originated because I was making fun of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought, hey, I can go longer than that. So that's how it...
And unfortunately you did.
I did, you know, and now I have to pay for it.
That's funny. So tell us a little bit about about Plotless Comics. What's kind of the idea behind it in your guys' stories?
Idea?
yeah. Well, basically, yeah, like it kind of started with the Rabbit Walrus guy. Like he's just character. He's kind of wild and crazy. He's very possessive of his city, and he likes to protect it, but he also feels like he owns the place, so he crosses the line a few times. And that's kind of the thing with Sato Cat as well. He's a character. He's a cat. He's got all kinds of superpowers, and basically can do whatever he wants. He's got it. I think they both of them share this characteristic where they have it in their heads that they're heroes. Not everyone views them that way because they just kind of run roughshod over the whole city. But so but they do defeat when there's an evil villain who's got a master plan to take over the world. For example, one of the main villains is Mr. Brouhaha, and he's always got. That's him on the cover of the war thingy here. Okay. But he's always got a plan to take over the city or take over the world. And they do stop him, and they are his enemy, but it's kind of a coincidence that they end up saving the city. So, but yeah, they often cause more destruction than they avoid.
Kind of like the Powerpuff Girls then?
Yeah, in some ways.
So, how'd you guys get started with it and the whole idea?
I got this original Plotless comic here. It's you probably can't see it really good. It's old pencil versions that we did in high school. Okay. So, this is kind of how it started. It was back in like the 90s, way back when. So I had art class, and I think I'd watched Monty Python, and I wanted to draw a bunny with fangs or something like that. So, I just sketched this out, and what I would do is I would take like a stack of papers and fold them in half and just start drawing until the book ran out, and that kind of was the beginning of it. And we'd sell them like little photocopied things to friends and stuff, and we had all these stories developed over time, stories, quote-unquote stories.
That was kind of the notion with Plotless Comics, because we didn't really plan a story out, and we just drew until the paper ran out. That was kind of the origin of Plotless, because we're like, we'll see what happens once we draw.
The end, because it has to be. Yeah. That's really cool. So you're drawing in high school. Just kind of drawing ever since you're young, I'm assuming, right? Okay. High school, start drawing a little bit more, start doing this. How'd you make the jump from, okay, we photocopied it, some friends bought it, to let's go bigger, let's go to conventions, let's publish it kind of thing? What caused that and that idea?
Yeah, I think it was always the dream, right, to make something of it, and we've been doing it. Matt was always historically, from a young age, drawing sequentially, making stories and things, and I had a bunch of characters that I would draw a lot, but I was too much of a perfectionist to put them in sequence, and it took too long to do stories. So when it kind of got together, we, I saw the advantage of just being a little bit looser and writing and drawing for fun. And that kind of opened us up. But yeah, jumping to the WonderCon and doing all the publishing, we just basically said, let's do it. We've got some stuff that is decent enough to publish, and let's go with this. We were redoing some of our early stuff, and and so we took that next leap. We decided to finally go for it. We did WonderCon the last 2 years. We'll be going again in Anaheim this year.
Were you guys, when you first decided to go, were you obviously first excited, but then kind of freaking out, like, what if they hate us? What if we get booed out of there? Like, were you nervous at all, or was it more just excited?
That was more like ape, right? No, we actually had a pretty good response, mostly to the buttons. We have a whole bunch of buttons.
There's a lot of collectors.
So the buttons usually go really well because they like the characters and stuff. And a lot of people were wearing the buttons. They have no idea, what
they're
they are.
upside down. And stuff.
That's the way it goes. I made an upside down one into a character. We were a little nervous. It was kind of cool because years ago we went to the first WonderCons and you got to meet Alex Ross and some of the big names, Matt Wagner, I think, over the years, and to be there at the table and being able to talk to some of the artists is really cool. Corey became a slave laborer for Greg Horn. By accident.
I'm a slave laborer to a lot of people.
He wanted to buy a book, and they had another table because I guess he was running out of the ones there, so he actually carried a big stack of Greg Horn books over to him because now Greg Horn thinks he's a stalker or something.
Well, at first he thought I worked for Image, and then he's like, "Oh, you don't." Weird.
So who are you? So
not to mention the guy that dressed like Naruto and made me draw Naruto drawings for now. Learned a valuable lesson there. Mostly we get high off for the feeling like you're famous for a day, signing autographs and things. But no, it's a lot of fun, and it is. It's fun to see people, now that we've gone a few times, come back and be like, oh yeah, I had this book from last time, and they come and buy the next one. It's like, oh, it's the developing of the next one.
Fan base is always exciting.
There's a family that came out and go, yeah, Flatline Frog. It's one of our frogs with characters with an electro tongue who's in Sato Cat comics. We made him into a Christmas ornament because we have little plushies and sculptures and stuff. So someone has him hanging on their tree somewhere.
Nice.
It's really cool. It's exciting to be starting to get it out there. We've done at least 5 shows now, you think? Something like that. We did SatCon one year. We've done WonderCon a couple years. We did Ape. We did Big Wow. So it's fun to meet new fans and having people actually read our stuff.
Yeah.
So
what's your guys' ultimate goal with Plotless?
To sell out and then fire Corey.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's all about the money. It's whoever can cut the throat the fastest. No, but yeah, that's. I mean, we love our characters, and we think we have kind of a unique thing going on. It's a little weird, and it's hard for some people to get into because it's these little animals and they wear superhero costumes. I think some of it's been done. Superheroes, obviously, a lot of them out there. Little animals that kill each other. There's some of that out there too. But the combination, I think, and that we've been doing it this long, we have a whole universe in our heads, and we just want to share that with everybody, and I think it'll be entertaining for a good segment.
Looking through them really quickly, I haven't really read through a whole one, although I definitely am going to as soon as we're done. But it reminds me a lot of back when I was younger, in like the mid-90s-ish. On Saturday morning, you always had the main 30-minute cartoons, and then in between them, there was commercials, and then there was these little like 5-minute random like slapstick comedy bits, and that's what these remind me of a lot.
But just more violent and cooler.
No, they would have weird like animals eating each other, or like, but it would be like cartoony and stuff, and it reminds me of that very much. So these definitely they have that little Saturday morning like fun aspect to them. So that's really great.
Yeah,
really great.
We every now and again we have, we've gotten older and we have kids and things, and we start to wonder, should we tone these down a little and make them a little bit more broadly appealing? But when one of us goes into one of those crises, the other one of us is usually on the other side of that, like in an ultra-violent kick, and they're like, no, and they pull us back from the brink. That explains why, like, in this one, they chase down the Easter Bunny, but they spend, half of the comic they're like finding new and interesting ways to kill bunny rabbits. They had to stick them to the ceiling of the cave and stuff like that. They couldn't just do it the one time. They had to keep doing it for like a page and that kind of thing. And same with his Star Wars spoof, where they go off and kill.
Can you hand me that real quick?
Ewok village shop.
Yeah. This, the second part of this one's coming out in March for WonderCon, and I love it because everybody hates the Ewoks. You either love them or you hate them, and like it was just kind of fun. I had this idea years ago, and like they not only do they go through and they kill everybody here, but in the nature of things, they make use of their
yeah, they're not wasteful.
Yes, they're not wasteful. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you guys can take pictures of it later on.
That's awesome.
But I made a sculpture of this one actually, and I have little sculptures, and they do pretty well at the shows as well. And the second part, the art's gotten a little bit better because I drew that one years ago, and I finally colored it and published it. And then I'm working on the latest one, and I'm on like the last 5 pages or so, 4 or 5 pages depending on how it goes. And it's just exciting to get it out there. I can't wait to color it, and I do it kind of the old school way, by hand. It was kind of funny because at WonderCon I was talking to one of the artists who does some work for Pixar and stuff, and he's like, "You do stuff by hand?" I was like a dinosaur. I was like, and so it was fun. But I love in the digital age, it's cool. You can get comics really quick and read them, on your tablets or whatever. But I like holding it in my hand. Same with like video games. Like I don't like to download because I want the box and the book. So
But why do you even play video games? Just get action figures and go at it.
I do that too. So, yeah, there you go. Cover that up.
But yeah, that's
the Disney goons are on their way.
Yeah, we're excited. With WonderCon coming up, we're furiously trying to finish our latest issue. He's got part 2 of his Star Wars spoof almost in the final stages here, and I'm trying to get through redoing Cat's origin issue, who's number 1. He that's me tapping the table too hard, but
he did it on purpose.
It was Rebel Wars. But yeah, it's they're fun.
How do you guys have any issues with, since you're using the spoof of like the Star Wars stuff, like license issues? You said something about Superman and that kind of thing, or is it because it's so spoofed that it kind of it's okay?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a couple things. We're right now we haven't been noticed, to that by Marvel yet, or DC and Superman, but like, and then also I think it is spoof enough where it's going to be in the line of parody.
You don't see any logos of anybody.
Okay. So, avoid calling him Superman. It's just kind of, you can tell he is because of the way he plays out in there.
Okay. All right. And then I guess if you do, maybe someone will pick it up, right? The story, like it'll get on the news. Oh, hey, cool. For your publicity, can't do that one anymore. But
yeah, exactly.
Maybe one of the executives is like, why don't we think of that? Let's hire these guys.
It's funny because I've had at least like 5 people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you should make Rabbit Wallace fight Deadpool."
Oh yeah.
I've thought about trying to just and we joke back and forth, and Corey's like, "No one will ever read that." And then like that day, someone came up and said, "Oh, he should fight Deadpool."
Well, there's 2.
I'm mostly skeptical about, and it wasn't that they wouldn't read it. I was just thinking, oh, you'll get sued or something, like hey, you can't do it. I'm always skeptical, but then people are like, oh yeah, you should totally do it. So I'm like, all right. But,
so I thought about like maybe one day just drawing it and submitting it, but then Disney would own me and I'd be afraid. So
yeah.
They own everything.
I know. One day, right?
That's my goal. They're cramping my style. I gotta own something.
Hardly a day goes by where Matt doesn't say, "Hey, they stole my idea."
I had that idea years ago. They're spies and satellites. I know it.
He had to take his foil hat off for the interview, but
all right.
he's usually wearing it.
So you guys seem like a pretty funny a team even. Like how was it like working together? You guys ever collaborate in your stuff, or is it 2 kind of separate things, or you guys work together, or is it you each do it? You come and go, hey, here's what I did. Like, how does that work out? The partnership between the two?
Yeah, we have separate titles, but we collaborate a lot. We're just basically sitting around cracking each other up. Is that how would you take it?
Yeah, we a lot of the stories we've talked over, and we incorporate each other's ideas, and there's always this ongoing rivalry between Sato Cat and Rabbit Walrus that you'll see in the comics where they stab each other or beat up each other. In fact, in my latest issue, Corey was making the comment, why did Rabbit Walrus push Sato Cat out of the way of the laser beam? Normally you just let him take it. But I think at that point he'd lost his powers, because that's kind of what happens in this issue. They lose their powers, and so he wants an extra target around as long as possible.
Oh, okay.
That explanation. It probably comes from, I mean, it kind of plays off of real life to some degree. We used to go, he grew up in Half Moon Bay, and we'd go out surfing, and we always took a special joy when the other one went over the falls on a wave, and we're like, you're getting like tumbled over.
Then you look back and there's one coming down on your head.
So it's kind of that kind of bleeds over into the characters a little bit.
A little bit of artistic angst.
Yeah.
Between you, just like playing out through the pencil.
Yeah. It's good times. They team up, but before each team up, there's usually this miniature battle between the two.
Okay, and then someone else to fight.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Some of the characters in here have very short attention spans. There's this one, I think he's on the card here, the happiest homicidal maniac. He never speaks. He just giggles and runs around with like every conceivable weapon and shoots at anything that moves. And he'll be, fighting one of our characters until he sees a butterfly fly by, and he'll be off chasing that instead.
That's funny. All right, cool.
Very easily distracted.
Just like its creators.
Yeah, just like us. Hence the plotlessness. We sell it short a little bit. We've now that we have progressed a little bit further from high school, we have gotten into a little bit more of advanced planning in our stories, and there's something of a continuity there. It's like a very loose vestige, but mainly we don't challenge people too hard with, we're not going to go on for pages and dialogue and romance like between Gambit and Rogue or something.
Okay.
It's going to go on
Action
with,
and violence and making fun of people.
Not many pages go by without something exploding or getting stabbed.
It's kind of funny because we get parents, because of the style, some kids will pick it up, and like the parents will ask, hey, is it violent? And we're like, well, flip through it and then have your kid check it out, and see what you think. And like one parent saw, well, I mean, just profanity, no, there's no profanity. Okay, it's cool.
And then the other families were like, avert your eyes, children. Everybody's being killed.
But it's violent, but it's like kind of cartoon violence. There's not a lot of like real gore in it. It's just kind of, it's funny stuff. Itchy and Scratchy-esque humor, I suppose. Not even as far as Itchy and Scratchy, though.
I follow a similar principle where there's not really, my characters don't have guts as much as they just have a skeleton and blood and skin. And I don't want to get too gory, but there's definitely a lot of blood and things. That's kind of funny when they, like in the Easter special, they're again trying to creatively kill all these little bunnies that they've encountered. They at one point, the Sato Cat takes the skeleton out of the bunny rabbit and then like pulls the skin on over himself and is like, look at me, I'm an Easter bunny.
With you guys' style, have you ever considered like animation possibilities or anything like that, or?
I've experimented a little bit, like doing flash animation, and it's just a little time consuming.
Yeah.
At this point, I'll have to wait until I've got enough of a following where I can pawn it off on one of my minions. But
Okay.
but yeah, I think it would lend itself well. I have a Flatline Frog T-shirt that I wear at the cons, and I get people saying, "Oh, please tell me that's animated," because he's a kind of a striking character with his flatline scar across his belly and simple little red cape on a frog.
I look over and I just see, it's bright, it's colorful. It was like I can almost see it moving. It's like it would make good animation. So call Adult Swim or something. They'd love to make it. Put that in there.
Definitely. We actually we were talking to one of the storyboarders at Cartoon Network at Big Wow, and she was pretty cool. She has her own title. And we gave her a couple copies of it. We didn't hear anything yet.
Just put this out on the coffee table at Cartoon Network and
see what happens.
But like definitely one day animation or video games would be fun too, because there's so many possibilities. We have these characters. They're called carnivorous ducks. You see them on this little thing here a little bit.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, so yeah, and there's a story in the comic about how they originated. In fact, one of our buttons is the duck holding a gun, and it was a big seller. It sold out at the last show. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just using all these different things. So we have armies of ducks. We have the non-ninja Rabbit Guild of Mayhem that goes against them. They hate ninjas, but they dress like ninjas for some reason.
Yeah, it's their ironic.
Yes, and then there's all kinds of you got your expendable characters in there. Weewoks is what these are called in this episode 1, part 1. so and then like in lots of comics, people always come back for vengeance. Like there's a guy called the Vengeful Old Guy who Rabbit Walrus stole his old person cart and souped it up and made it into his little Rabbit Walrus spike, and he comes back later on for revenge. And so we're this issue actually in the line of things is like issue 7 or 8, and I'm going back and doing number 1 through 7. So it's kind of fun.
Luckily, since we're plotless, we can get away with just like leading off with issue 7 and then going back and
we'll do it later.
Yeah.
You guys ever think that in your future you'll progress to actual like planned story arcs or anything, or are you guys just fine with what you're doing, or?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of that going on. It's just a matter of tempering it, because I have a tendency personally to overthink things when I start writing out the stories. And I've got this here is actually part 1 of a 4-issue arc where Mr. Bruja attacks the city, and then banishes these guys off into the Bermuda Triangle for a while, and they have sort of a King Kong related adventure out there before they get back to the city and are able to fight Mr. Bruja again. But so that's kind of a fun thing. And we have, there's things that are based on spoofs that we want to do, and then there's things that are original that we want to do that are just kind of planned and out there. But so a little bit of that going on. But we want to keep it loose enough where we can just start.
Do you guys do mail-in prescription or subscriptions?
we have a website, plotless.com, and all the comics are available to purchase there. I have some of the stuff up as well. It's kind of weird trying to decide how we want to balance putting things online and what we sell. And I think what we'll ultimately do is put most, if not all, of the things online for people to, at least initially, to start reading, and then maybe in black and white, and then sell in color and print. But it's there's a lot of fun. There's a lot to be entertained by there at plotless.com now. But and then more in the future as we continue to draw.
All right, cool. These are awesome.
Do you have any other questions for him?
Not at the moment.
Cool. Well, hit us up again if you ever have it. If you read through it and you're like, you probably have more questions than answers after you've read through one of these.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. It's great meeting you guys. Appreciate it. The stories look awesome. Can't wait to get into them. So I'll have to fight him. He's gonna be like reading on his way home, like
get out of the way. Reading comics here.
One of those, call me when you get home so I know you're alive and that you didn't die reading the comic.
I've literally. Once in my life, I got into a car accident on 680 because I was reading a comic while driving.
That's awesome. Oh, great! Now they're gonna ban that.
It was a minor fender.
It's on film now.
No one was in there.
Yeah, definitely check us out at plotless.com, and we got a lot of fun stuff on there, and you can get some of our books, and also we'll be at WonderCon in Anaheim this year, so we're excited for that as well. We're kind of making WonderCon an annual thing. We're trying to hit them every year, and we're going to try to be doing more shows in the future. So,
all right. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. At the beginning of the video, you may have noticed that this episode in this interview was sponsored by Empire's Comic Vault. You guys definitely make sure you check them out. They're, especially if you're in the Sacramento area, they're one of the best comic shops I've seen. Ben is amazing, so go support that. He's a huge supporter of just independent creators. He's actually got a whole section in his shop just full of comics by creators. So definitely check them out and check out their website. Check out, they actually are producing some of their own comics, some of their own titles. Definitely worth your time if you are in the Sacramento area, even if you're within like an hour or so. Take the time, drive there, tell them I sent you. But also, if you would like to, if you're interested in sponsoring a video, want to get your name out there or whatever it is, just give me an email, send it over to tektorproductions@gmail.com, and we can talk and see what and work something out. All right, thank you guys again. Don't forget to share this video. We'll put a link to it on your Facebook. Tell your friends, and if you haven't done already, sign up for our email.